Welcome to vlearnias. Today we are going to discuss about the Hindu news analysis on dated 11th August 2023. So moving to our news. First news is about the RBI's some policies in the interest rate. Okay, that is mainly called as the monetary policy. So we have took three newses from page number 1, page number 17 as well as the editorial part. Okay, so in UPSC perspective, this is important in GS paper 3 in the economic part. So when moving to the news, we have three key parts we have to know about that. That is the monetary policy, interest rate and the inflation. So here before going to the monetary policy, we have to just note about the fiscal policy. Okay, so fiscal policy means these are the change in government spending and the tax rates, and the fiscal policies are mainly set by the government and the monetary policies are mainly set by the central bank. Okay, here the target means there is no specific target is for the fiscal policy. When comparing to the fiscal policy, the monetary policies have the target which is mainly about the inflation. Here it mainly concerns about this change in government spending and tax rates. In monetary policy, it is a change in interest rates as well as the money supply. Okay, here the side effects will be going to the government budget or borrowing. In monetary policy, the side effects will be on the exchange rate as well as the housing market. Mostly, the monetary policies are independent of the political process, and the fiscal policy will be opposite, where the strong political dimensions will be there when regarding the changing tax rates. Okay, so these are the some important points. It is about the fiscal policy and the monetary policy. I hope everyone knows all these basic concepts. Okay, so the next one is interest rate. So interest rate means in a bank they borrow money. Someone is borrowing money from the bank, that is they lending some amount. In return they have to give the interest rate. Okay, so this is basically the interest rate. Okay, so this is from the borrower to the bank. Here this bank, they are lending the money to a borrower and in return they are paying the interest rate. The interest rate means what? It is the percentage of loans principal. Okay, so this is mainly about the interest rate. And how the monetary policy works. If there is a reduction in interest rate, what will happen? It will lead to two ways. Okay, first one is lending will increase. Okay, if there is interest rate is low, if the interest rate is low, then people will take more loan. Okay, so what will happen? Money supply will increase. The people have more money in their hand, so it will increase the purchasing power. Okay, when considering to our home or housing, so the lending rate on housing goes down. What will happen? The purchase of houses are encouraged because there is lending rate is there. Am I right? Means the lending rate on the housing is less, so the people have more money, so they can do the purchase. So it will lead to more homes are built. Okay, so economic activity will be increase. So when in the opposite direction, the deposit rates will be low. When the deposit rates are low, why? Because the interest rate will be low, then people will get nothing. So that's why they are not depositing the money in the bank. So what will happen? They will just keep their money in their hand or the cash. So the consumption will be increasing. They will buy home or any other products from the market. Okay, so there will be increase in the money supply. So the interest rate is depending on the interest rate and money supply is playing together. Okay, so reduction in interest rate will lead to economic activity rises. And the next one is inflation. So I already told you that we have to learn about three concepts. First one is monetary policy, and second one is interest rate, and third one is inflation. So inflation means what? It's the rise in price of goods and services. Okay, but we have to focus on two criteria. If the rise in price is happening over a period of time as well as in a particular economy, then we can call it as an inflation. Okay, so what will happen? It will decrease the purchasing power of a customer. So nowadays we already know that tomato is having increased rates. Am I right? So the tomato earlier, if we are going to buy 3 pieces, it will be just cost for 10 rupee. I'm just took an example. Okay, this is not the exact value of the tomato. And nowadays, if you want to buy 3 pieces, then you have to pay extra 20. Am I right? So this is the inflation like. Okay, so here increase in general price rises. So what will happen? The each unit of currency buys the lesser goods and services when comparing to the earlier. Okay, so this is the a little concept about the inflation. So in news, they are talking about the increase in the food price. As we, example, tomato. We already discussed about tomato. Here the vegetables and pulses, they have the increased food prices. So what will happen? It will lead to inflation. It's mainly depicting in the consumer price index inflation. Okay, what is CPI? It is a measure which is used to track the changes in the prices of a basket of goods and services commonly consumed by the household. So what will happen? Our central bank must have to take any measures. Am I right? Here in news, it says that the central bank may continue its stand of withdrawal accommodation. You have to know this term, okay? You can use in your answer writing, okay? So withdrawal accommodation means it is that reducing the money supply. So they are just standing on the withdrawal accommodation. They are just focusing on reducing the money supply. So what will happen? If the money supply is reducing, it will eventually control the inflations. So that's the thing RBI is focusing on. So they are now took the policy of status quo policy. So if they are continuously maintaining the status quo policy, what will happen? There is a chance of knee-jerk monetary policy. Anything will be happen. Am I right? So that is mean the knee-jerk monetary policy reactions. So it is mainly because of the vegetable price-led spike in term of in near-term inflation. Okay, so this is the news about the inflation, which mainly depicting on the monetary policy and interest rate. So then moving to the second news, this is from the GS paper 3, Science and Technology. So here we are dealing with the Navic. Here Indian GPS Navic to be linked to Aadhaar enrollment devices. Okay, so this is from UPSC perspective we will learn. Here, before going to the news, we have to know about what is Navic. Navic means navigation with Indian constellation. Okay, it is mainly for the positioning, navigation and timing requirements of the nation, and Navic is established by ISRO. This is a regional navigation satellite system. Okay, so we can call it as navigation with Indian constellation as well as Indian regional navigation satellite system. So Navic is a satellite system. Okay, so navigation, the navigation with Indian constellation or Navic, there are 7 satellite systems are there that make up India's version of the American GPS, Global Positioning System. GPS are there. Moreover, the GPS are controlled by the defense centers of the corresponding country. Okay, so before that, our Aadhaar, everything was controlled by, we are enrolled with a GPS system. So it will affect our internal security or our national security. So that's why now the government is focusing on interlinking the Aadhaar with the navigation, means the Navic. Okay, so the Navic means what? It is a 7 satellite systems which it will make up the India's version of the American GPS. It will make us competent with America. Okay, so will soon be integrated with other enrollment devices across the country. This is the news. Here the Department of Space, that is DOS, they have told the Parliamentary Committee of Science and Technology about the interlinking of Navic and Aadhaar. Okay, here the integration is taking place with the Aadhaar enrollment devices. So the who told this? Department of Space has told the Parliamentary Committee of Science and Technology about the integration of Aadhaar enrollment devices with the Navic. Okay, so we can discuss some points about Navic. So Navic means what? This is a Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System, IRNSS, and it have a constellation of 7 satellites are there, and also a network of ground stations operating 24 into 7. They are continuously operating. Okay, actually there was total 8 satellites was there, but only 7 are active. In that 7 satellites, 3 satellites are geostationary orbit and the 4 remaining satellites are the geosynchronous orbits. Okay, and also these navics are under fully the control of Government of India. So why we are merging the Navic with Aadhaar enrollment devices? This is only because our Aadhaar enrollment kits are now used to collect and verify the personal details are linked to GPS. Okay, these global positioning system is not under the control of India. Means these GPS systems are under the control of the corresponding countries. Maybe this GPS system is from the American defense or the country that produced. Okay, so it will affect our security. So that's why the government thought about integrating our Aadhaar enrollment kits with the latest satellites. Okay, so that is the Navic. So this is the reason for merger. And what is the significance? It will enhance the navigation accuracy as well as the reliability of the devices. And also we know that Navics are mainly used for the disaster management as well as to spread the messages for the fishermen about the cyclone, tsunamis. So it will enhance the efficiencies, okay, when interlinking the Navic with the Aadhaar. So how Navic will ensure the data protection? So it simply means that now we are just focusing on, so the Navic means here we are more focusing on the data protection. So that's why we are just ignoring the GPS of other countries. Okay, so that's why we are focusing on Navic. So how they will ensure the data protection? Okay, so there are 2 types of services are provided under the Navic. That is, first one is the standard position services and the second one is the restricted services. These standard position services is mainly for the civilian users and the restricted services is for the strategic users. Okay, and this is about the LS and S band. Both are provided under these 2 bands. And the Navic coverage area, it will cover entire country as well as the region up to 1500 kilometer beyond the Indian boundary. Okay, so these are the main areas about means the area of coverage by the Navic. And the uses of Navic. Now they are using under the Natural Disaster Management Agency, that is NDMA, for the alert dissemination system for the major natural disasters. As we know, the landslides, earthquakes, floods, avalanches, everything is under the major natural disasters. As well as we have to broadcast all these things to the people. Majorly, it's most importantly to the fishermen. If there is any cyclones, high waves, tsunamis, if sometimes these type of disasters will be there, then we have to alert them with the messages. So the Navic is really helpful for doing all these things, and for that purpose it is working under Indian National Center for Ocean Information System. Okay, that is INCOIS. So these are the important aspects of Navic's uses. Okay, and why we are just moving away from GPS? This is our major concern. So there will be some concerns about the GPS system. Am I right? So the first concern is about the threat to our data security as well as our sovereignty. Why? Because the GPS and the GLONASS are mainly operated by the defense agencies of the respective nations. Example, America. So indirectly, America is controlling our Aadhaar. So from these words, you will understand how our data will be get leaking. Okay, so this is a threat. And the second one is breach of the personal information. So the civilian services can be degraded or denied. It's a possibility. Okay. So these are the main concerns, and now we are going to the third news. It mainly based on the ISRO's soft landing of the Chandrayaan 3. Okay, this is under the GS paper 3 in the space technology. I have just merged the today's news with yesterday's news, and today ISRO gears up for soft landing on Chandrayaan 3, and they just released two images. This is the image. Okay. So here Pythagoras they detected, and Raman and Aristarchus, Oceanus, Procellarum and Eddington. So here the Pythagoras means it is a complex lunar crater, and the Aristarchus is also a lunar crater, but it have the highest reflectance. Okay, and the Oceanus Procellarum, it's a ocean of storms. It's a vast volcanic plain, and Raman it is a small lunar crater, and Eddington is a lava flooded remnant of a lunar crater. Okay, so this is the image which is released by the ISRO by the Chandrayaan 3. Okay, so about Chandrayaan 3, so it is to achieve a successful soft landing on the moon, and also India aims to become the fourth country in the world to achieve this feat. Okay, after USA, Russia and China. So this is the major aspect. And about Chandrayaan 3, this is the India's third lunar mission, and our second attempt was achieving a soft landing on the moon surface. Okay, and the mission which is took off from Sriharikota, that is the Satish Dhawan Space Center. As we know, you can remember this point for the map importance. I will tell you how to connect this point with the map. Okay, I have took this example here, Sriharikota in Andhra Pradesh. So you will think how we can connect with a UPSC map study. Here it is a barrier island of Bay of Bengal, and also it separates the Pulicat Lake. So the importance of Pulicat came here. So first one is, it is the second brackish water lagoon in India. So the Pulicat Lake is in Andhra Pradesh too. So then we can address what is the first brackish water lagoon in India, that is the Chilka, and it is in Odisha. Okay, so from this way we can connect the map studies. And about Chandrayaan 3 mission, it mainly consists of LM, PM and rover. LM means indigenous lander module, PM means propulsion module and rover. Its main objective is to developing and demonstrating new technologies which is required for interplanetary missions. Okay, and other missions or other objectives Chandrayaan 3 means to demonstrate safe and soft landing on lunar surface, as well as to demonstrate rover moving on the moon, and to conduct in situ scientific experiments. Okay, in situ means what? Inside there. So these are the main objectives of this mission. And we got other Chandrayaan missions too, India's. The first one is Chandrayaan 1 and second one is Chandrayaan 2. And Chandrayaan 2 was partial success, and that it was goal to explore the lunar south pole. Okay, and Chandrayaan 1, it aims to create a three-dimensional atlas of the moon and to conduct a mineralogical mapping. So these are the two launch vehicles for Chandrayaan 1 and 2. And the third one, we know that Chandrayaan 3, now it's in our mission. And there was types of moon missions also was there, Flybees 3 and 4 by the US and Luna 3 by the USSR. Okay, and orbiters, the Chandrayaan 1 is a type of orbiters type of moon mission, and Chandrayaan 1's moon impact probe, that is MIP, is a type of impact mission. Luna 9 by the USSR is a type of landers, and rovers, Chandrayaan 2 is a rovers. We also called as the Pragyan. And human mission, 6 successful landing between 1969 and 1972. We already know that it only achieved by NASA. Okay, so in human mission, NASA is planned for 2025. That is the Artemis 3rd. Okay, so it will to mark the humanity's return to the moon. They are just focusing on the human mission planned for 2025. So coming to the fourth news, it's mainly about the biodiversity conservation. Okay, it's an important part in GS3, environment, biodiversity conservation. So first one is about the continental tiger census report. So who is publishing that? Wildlife Institute of India and the National Tiger Conservation Authority, they are just reporting the or publishing the cardinal tiger census report. So it's the latest note, okay. In Madhya Pradesh, now they have 785 tigers. That is the fifth of the national count. The second time they are just staying in this amount. So as well as they got 50% increase in the tiger census, okay. So the second one is the Bihar, just less than 10% of MP's tiger, means the Madhya Pradesh tiger. So how they achieved this, okay. So there are some factors which contributed to the 50% rise in tiger in Madhya Pradesh. So they got some approaches. We have to know that approaches, okay. So first one is they actively moving both tigers as well as their prey. That is the active movement of tigers as well as their prey within the state. Why they are doing this? It is only doing for the balancing of the predator as well as the prey population. This is the theory of nature, okay. So we have to ensure this, otherwise we can't achieve this type of improvement for the conservation, okay. So second one is reintroduction of species. So first one is the relocation within the state, and the second one is about the reintroduction of species, that is in Madhya Pradesh. First one is Barasingha, swamp deer. This is the swamp deer. So they just reintroduced the swamp deer to the new habitats, that is the Satpura range and the Bandhavgarh National Park. These two places are in Madhya Pradesh. You have to remember that, okay. This will be helpful in your map studies. And the third one is Gaur, introduced in Bandargarh National Park and Sanjay Dubri Tiger Reserves, and Chital. Chital is a prey species, okay. So they just introduced or supplemented in the Satpura and Sanjay Tiger Reserves and Navaradehi and Kuno National Park and Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuaries. From where? They just translocated from the Pench and Bandhavgarh, because the Pench and Bandhavgarh have high density population of chital. So that's why they just translocated them to all these places. It is to ensure or to keep the balance between the prey and the tiger populations, okay. So these often involve these methods. First, tracking, darting, capturing animals, keeping in temporary enclosures, releasing into new habitats, okay. So it's a time consuming and we need some more plannings and scientific expertise. So some way forwards I just put here. So first one is scientific expertise and support from people also there, okay. And the states implemented active prey management policies and awareness. So why we are keeping all these things? Everything is in order to achieve the India's conservation ethos. So moving to the nose 5, it's from GS paper 2, it's covering the health as well as the government policies. I'm just mentioning these things, okay. So disability from pollution related diseases. Why the pollution is mainly causing from the particulate matter. So there is a risk for premature death and years of disability. This is a main disaster, okay. So what do you mean by particulate matter? As we know, it is found in air, including the dust, dirt, soot, smoke, liquid droplets. So all these things, all these particles can be suspended in the air for long periods of time. Okay. So and also some particles may be large or dark enough to see, or others are like smoke. Okay, so these are things are the particulate matter. Some can be detected in electron microscope. Some particles are directly emitted into the air. Its major sources are from where? The cars, trucks, buses, factories, construction sites, tilled fields, unpaved roads, stone crushing, burning of wood. Everything leads to the what? The disabilities. And other particle matters can be formed in the air from the chemical change of gases. Okay, because they are indirectly formed when gases from the burning fuels react with sunlight and water vapors. So these can result from fuel combustion in motor vehicles, at power plants and industrial process. So moreover, the particulate matters are mainly because of the man-made. So it will eventually leads to the stillbirth or immature birth, death, infant mortality, everything we can connect, more disabilities, illness. Okay, so this is about the fifth news. So moving to the sixth news is have importance in mapping. So there is wildfire destroys Hawaiian town. So we can locate from Hawaiian town. So this is the Pacific Ocean. This is the island archipelago, and the fire it have the wildfire have caused in Maui. Okay, so this is the place we have to locate in the map. Okay, so what happened? The wildfire it will cause destruction, fatalities, and evacuations. So Maui is the island in Central Pacific, and it is a part of Hawaiian archipelago. So Hawaiian islands are mainly formed by a hotspot occurring in the middle of the Pacific plate. Okay, so this is important in our map aspect of UPSC prelims. So thank you for listening to news analysis, and we will meet soon.